Bernard Jeffrey McCullough, better known as Bernie Mac, didn't catch his big break until he was in his 30s. But once he had the world's attention, his talent was undeniable.
Black folks don't get their nails and hair done. I don't give a what going on. May not be no food in the refrigerator. Might not be no light on, but we're gonna look good like a mother.
He quickly climbed the ranks to become known as one of the original kings of comedy, and his wife Rhonda was by his side through it all, from being on food stamps to living in a mansion. Sadly, their love story was cut short in 2008 after Bernie passed away. As we look back at his life and career, we'll be taking a deeper look inside one of the longest relationships in Black Hollywood. Here's a peek inside Bernie and Rhonda's beautiful marriage and an update on how Rhonda has coped with this tragic loss.
Feeling hungry? Head over to rrgsnacks.com to purchase a bag of our gourmet popcorn. Available in several flavors. Now you can enjoy our super messy videos all while getting your grub on. Use code POPPIN20 to receive 20% off your first order.
Bernie Mac was born and raised in the Inglewood community of Chicago. He was the second child of Mary McCullough and Jeffrey Harrison. He only saw his dad about 10 times during his life, and his mother raised Bernie and his siblings on her own with some help from her parents. Bernie told Oprah Winfrey he was sitting on his mom's lap watching Bill Cosby on The Ed Sullivan Show when he noticed his mom was crying. Bernie wiped the tears from her face and asked, "Why are you crying?" She wouldn't give him an answer, but he later found out she had been diagnosed with breast cancer. Despite being sick, Bernie said she took care of all of them and kept her diagnosis a secret. Bernie soon realized that his mom would always laugh while watching The Ed Sullivan Show. So one day he told her, "Mom, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be a comedian so you never cry again." From there, Bernie developed impeccable comedic timing that entertained his family and his classmates. He told Oprah he even kept a smile on his mom's face up until she passed away when he was 15. He told the New York Times that by the time he was 16, he had lost one brother to an illness, another brother lost his life to violence, and his grandmother passed away. To mask the pain, he kept himself busy and worked even harder to make other people happy. He told Oprah, "If I can tell someone a story that makes them bend over and laugh, that's bigger than anything else." In 1974, while at Chicago Vocational High School, a mutual friend introduced him to a fellow student named Rhonda Gore. Bernie told her, "Girl, you better get on this train because I'm going to be rich and famous." Rhonda told Oprah all the girls at school were crazy about Bernie, but she couldn't figure out why. Once she started talking to him, she realized he had a charm about him, and they started dating. A couple of years later, Rhonda got pregnant, and Bernie decided to do the right thing. 20-year-old Bernie and 19-year-old Rhonda got married on September 17, 1977. Their daughter Janice was born in 1978, and Bernie's biological father passed away that same year. Even though he would constantly tell Rhonda they would be rich one day, their first years of marriage were rough. Rhonda described how they were on food stamps at one point while Bernie bounced around to different jobs. According to the Philadelphia Inquirer, he drove UPS trucks, delivered Wonder Bread, worked as a restaurant manager, and was even a basketball coach by day. At night, he would perform at comedy clubs and told Oprah he was making about $25 a year doing stand-up. Rhonda decided she wanted a better lifestyle for their family. She put herself through school and received her nursing degree in 1986. She was the breadwinner of their family for many years. Bernie finally got his big break in 1990 when he entered the Miller Lite comedy search hosted by Red Fox. The winner got to open for Red Fox in Las Vegas, plus a $3,000 cash prize. When Bernie's name was announced as the winner and he was handed the check, it was the most money he had ever seen in his life. He didn't go out and blow it on a bunch of fancy things. Instead, he put it in a college fund for his daughter. It wasn't until the next day when he was driving his route for Wonder Bread that it really hit him. As the tears rolled down his cheeks, he dropped off the bread and decided he was quitting his job. He said to himself, "You're a comedian now." He went home and told his wife, "If I don't try this, I'm going to die." Rhonda simply replied, "I'm with you." From Def Comedy Jam to Mo Money to his own HBO variety show called Midnight Mac, Bernie was blowing up. He starred in films alongside other comedians like Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence and got cast in Ocean's 11. He was also featured in the original Kings of Comedy. In 2001, he appeared in his own program called The Bernie Mac Show, which was loosely based on his stand-up acts. While his career was moving at a fast pace, Rhonda maintained their home, kept the bills paid, served as Bernie's accountant, and raised their daughter. Bernie would affectionately refer to her as the boss. Even though he was on the road a lot, where many celebrities have to deal with temptation, Rhonda wasn't fazed. She said, "At that point, I was very secure in my role as his wife and didn't have to worry about anything." With his increased popularity came a better financial situation and stability for their family. Rhonda told Ebony that after making their first $1 million, she retired from nursing. And when Rhonda's sister got addicted to substances, Bernie didn't hesitate to rescue their niece and their niece's 3-year-old daughter from a crack house to raise them as his own. When he wasn't busy on the road, Bernie was a family man who loved to play practical jokes on his wife. But she also described him as gentle and very sensitive during an interview with Ebony. Their 3-story, 20-room home in the Chicago suburbs was his sanctuary. He loved entertaining their friends and family there because he wasn't a big fan of going out. He just wanted to relax and be around the ones he loved. While at home, he was also able to enjoy the one thing he loved the most, Rhonda's home-cooked meals. She told Cuisine Noir magazine she would make him breakfast in bed, and while he was eating it, he would ask, "What do you think we can have for lunch?" In 2003, after a grueling schedule of promoting Ocean's 12 and shooting back-to-back movies, Bernie came down with pneumonia in both lungs. His illness aggravated his sarcoidosis, an inflammatory disease he was diagnosed with back in 1983. Media outlets reported he was terminally ill, but Bernie was able to bounce back. Unfortunately, when he returned back to work at the Bernie Mac Show, his health declined again. He told the LA Times as he was walking from his dressing room to the set, he stopped, bent over, and could barely breathe. Production shut down temporarily, and Bernie went back to Chicago to recuperate with Rhonda by his side. The Bernie Mac Show ended in 2006, and in 2007, Rhonda and Bernie launched the Bernie Mac Foundation to spread awareness about sarcoidosis. A year later, Bernie got sick again. It was July 2008 when Bernie went to visit his dermatologist, Renee Earls, who had been treating his skin lesions which were caused by sarcoidosis. Bernie arrived at Renee's office with a fever, fatigue, and was having trouble breathing. Rhonda said during the several hours he spent at Renee's office, he had unstable vital signs and a rapid heart rate, but Renee failed to call 911. Renee told the Sun-Times he gave Bernie oxygen and let him rest for about 4 hours. Believing Bernie was suffering from a reaction to a drug given to him by a different physician for a cold, Renee then administered another medication to stop the reaction. Renee then got in touch with Bernie's doctor and was told that Bernie had pneumonia in both lungs and he needed to seek proper medical attention. Bernie's driver took him to the hospital where he was placed in ICU. Rhonda and their daughter rushed to the hospital, and Rhonda told the Atlanta Voice she knew immediately he only had 2 options. She told him, "Either you get better or you pass away." Doctors kept him sedated, but he also contracted a second strain of pneumonia. Weeks later, on August 8, 2008, Bernie was awake and alert, although he couldn't speak due to the respirator tube in his throat. Feeling excited and hopeful, Rhonda asked him, "You're awake! You're awake! My God! So do you know who I am?" Rhonda said Bernie gave her a look like, "Girl, please." Rhonda stayed in the waiting room and was excited to greet Bernie after the procedure. But as the hours passed, she suddenly felt a cold gust of wind pass by her. That's when she knew something was wrong. When she was allowed inside his recovery room, his eyes were bulging open and he was trembling. Rhonda told Oprah she pleaded with him, "I'm here. I'm waiting for you. I'll take care of you. Just don't die." A few hours later, Bernie passed away at the age of 50.
I never watch what somebody else does. It does not matter. Bernie Mac got to do his thing.
So what did you think? What was your ultimate goal? What did you want to do?
To be the best.
To be the best.
Within myself.
Rhonda filed a $50,000 wrongful death lawsuit against Bernie's dermatologist, Renee Earls, but years later, she dropped the lawsuit. Bernie was honored in a multitude of ways following his passing. He received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and the University of Illinois Hospital and Health Sciences System named their new center after him. Over time, Rhonda's sadness grew into gratitude. She was thankful for the 33 years they had together and added, "I miss him every day, but he's in my heart." She poured all of her time into the Bernie Mac Foundation, and 6 months after Bernie passed away, Rhonda's sister called her and said, "I just met your next husband." The man turned out to be Horace Gilmore, a family friend whose wife had passed away a few months after Bernie. Horace was a member of Rhonda's parents' church, and her parents had known him for 30 years. Rhonda told Cuisine Noir magazine she was still grieving and had no intentions of marrying or even dating again. But when Horace showed up at a mutual friend's party, love blossomed. On their first date, he took her to a Chicago Bulls game. Then they went out to dinner and then to his apartment where they talked and talked. In total, their date lasted 13 hours. One night, she had a dream that she and Horace were at her home when Bernie walked through the door. In her dream, she told Horace he needed to leave because her husband was home. But Bernie told her, "No, Rhonda, let him stay. It's okay because I'm not here to stay." When Rhonda woke up, she realized Bernie came to let her know it was okay to move on. She and Horace got married on New Year's Eve in 2010. As of this video, their marriage is still going strong, and she's also enjoying life as a grandmother. In a 2017 interview with Cuisine Noir magazine, Rhonda referred to Bernie as her biggest love. In a special message to her late husband, she said, "It's sad that you had to leave this earth for me to stand and shine, but now I'm standing on my own now. Thank you so much."